So it's going to be 6 weeks. It's going to be the condensed version of my book. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through it very, very quickly. And we're going to discover and refine our vein of gold. We're going to discover it, and we're going to learn how to use it. And we're actually going to learn how to implement it into our acting for the best of our career, and how we can implement it into our career. And I will explain all of this stuff as we go. But for right now, what I want to do is I want everybody to introduce themselves. And what I'm going to do is I will let you guys unmute yourselves. And when I call on you, unmute yourself and then answer the question. And the way that it's going to work is I'm going to give you guys assignments, and we're going to work on them together. And I'm going to ask you guys to give me your responses. So first of all, the thing that I want to start off with is I want to start off with telling you guys just a little bit about what I teach. I teach The Artist's Way meets Respect for Acting. And the book, The Artist's Way, is a book about healing your artist and empowering yourself. And of course, Respect for Acting is the Uta Hagen seminal work on acting. And, you know, in that book, she says that actors should practice their craft, and that there's a little respect for acting. And I really love what she says, because I don't think there's much respect for actors either. I've been in Hollywood for a long time, and part of what I've had to learn how to do is learn how to give myself tools and self-protection, and I had to learn how to navigate this course of acting. So that's a little bit about me. I don't want this all to be about me, although it can be. But what I want this to be a group effort. And the more you guys give to me, the more I'll give to you. And the more you give to the course, the more it's going to give back to you. So I'm going to start at, I want to introduce everyone to each other, because that's what this is about. This is all about like having a community, having a group. And I love working in groups of people. So I want you to, first of all, tell me just a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your career, and one thing that's unique about you, okay? So tell me a little bit about yourself, and tell me a little bit about your career, and just tell me one unique trait that you have. And the reason I'm asking you to tell me a unique trait is because we're looking for our vein of gold. We are looking for our uniqueness. That's what's important to me when I am casting, and even when I'm acting. It took me so long to figure out that my uniqueness was why I got cast. Hiding my uniqueness was why I didn't get cast. Okay, so first up is Rebecca. Rebecca, go first. And unmute yourself first. You have to unmute yourself before you talk. Hold on.
If you look over your picture, there's a little unmute button. It should be in the upper right corner. Or in the bottom left. There you go.
Am I on okay?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Rebecca Gilmore Girls, and I have 4 children and 11 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. I have lived almost everywhere. My husband works for WBEZ NPR, and we lived in LA for 6 years. And the unique thing about me, well, my career is kind of bounced. I have done a lot of local theater in Chicago. I have done a lot of musical theater. I like stage work better than I do musical work. And the unique thing about me is that if you watch me on Facebook, I'm a Pollyanna. And the glass is never half full or half empty. We're just glad the glass has water in it.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
Dan, you're up.
Hi, I'm Dan Wenzel. I've been acting since I was 14. I am a union actor, although my career's been on a bit of a hiatus for a while. I have recently lost 55 pounds. So
Right.
yeah, so which is good. And something people don't know about me is I am also an aspiring minister. And in a few years, I'll also be Reverend Dan. And so I'm a Scorpio as well. So
What is the unique thing about yourself?
oh, I am unique. When I was born, I was so small. I'm 6'2" now, you know, but 6'2", 200 pounds now. But when I was born, I was so small because I was 9 weeks premature. They took me home in a size 10 shoebox, and there are actually pictures of this, of me being taken home in the hospital in a shoebox. And then puberty happened, and you know, and it was like I was like a Stretch Armstrong doll, and you know, and I really. And I was always taught as an actor that I was supposed to want to play Hamlet, and I always wanted to be on the Carol Burnett show. I really want to do television and independent films. And I was told that I was not supposed to want that. I was supposed to want to be Hamlet. But I'm admitting that I actually want to be on television, and I also want to do independent films.
That's definitely possible. Okay, let's do Alex.
Mute. Okay, sorry. All right, Alex Jokic, originally from Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina, war veteran from Bosnia, 1992-95, came to United States 96. Well, I was always going to write my book from the war, how I escaped, how I still alive, and that's what prompted me to become an acting, you know, to see what's going on behind the scenes. That's always going to help me write my book. And that's how I started in 2019 in July. I've been in I was featured in a few musical videos, and I have some, I was two documentary films and one feature film. But that's how I started. I've been doing background, like over 60 TV shows, but people say don't do too much of background if you want to be like a serious actor. I don't know, but here I am right here.
Besides your war stuff, which I think is unique, tell me something unique about yourself.
Oh, I like to joke. I'm like a joker. I like to throw jokes. I like to smile a lot. You know, I like to make people like laugh. I mean, like, that's me. Like, always positive, you know, always like throw a joke or two, or sometimes it can be like real bad joke, but you know, like, but I always like to joke.
Oh, good. Well, you're in the right place. I like to joke too.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Carol. Are you there, Carol? I don't think Carol joined us. Okay, my apologies. Going down the list. Samantha. Samantha. Linda.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm here. Okay, so you want to know about me?
Yes.
I'm from New York, and I grew up there. So when I was very young, I decided that I wanted to give acting a try. And I went to acting school and just loved it, fell in love with it. And then I just kind of moved along, and I came out here to see what the opportunities were. and kind of got disappointed. So things were different. Just like now, it's just such a different thing to be involved in acting. Before, you really had to do a certain regimen. You know, you had to know people, and you had to get, photographers to do your pictures, and there wasn't the internet available. So it was very different. And I got a little discouraged and kind of just got out of it. And then I had a totally different career and didn't really give it much thought until I got out of the other career. Then I thought, well, I always like being artistic. I love dance. And I found out that I could, try getting back into it. And once I did, I fell in love again. I started working at the theater, and I was at one theater for 2 years solid, just every week doing many different roles in many different shows, just constantly. And I really enjoyed that.
Tell me something unique about yourself.
Unique. Well, I would have to say I'm a chocoholic. I'm just crazy about chocolate, and I, just crave it almost all the time.
Chocolate's good for you. Okay. Next up, Miss Mary Dallas.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Well, my name is Mary Dallas. I decided to go after my passion, which is acting, at the ripe young age of 48. I was born in Chicago. We migrated out here to California when I was 3. So I speak fluent Greek. I'm 100% Greek. What else? Oh, the unique thing about me is I have over 1 million facial expressions. That's what they tell me.
Can you
They
show
said that
me-
my expressions
can you
are.
show them all now?
Do we have time?
Yeah.
But yeah. The first thing that happened to me, I was doing background,
Uh-huh.
and a rapper, I guess, the Jock from Uncut Casting, he calls me. He goes, "Hey Mary, how do you feel about doing a rap music video?" I said, "I'm 48 years old. Who wants me in a rap music video?" And I played well, you can't say this usually, but trailer trash is what they called my character.
That's fine by me.
And, yeah, it was so funny though, because I thought I was gonna do background. I was actually co-starred in Macklemore's White Walls video.
Wow.
You ever heard of Macklemore? Yeah. Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, Same Love. They sing Thrift Shop. That's okay. Anyway, so they flew me to Seattle, and it was fun. And I've never acted before. I was only doing background at this point. And then he took me aside and said, "Okay, so this is your scene." I had a scene.
Wow.
And in the car, and I had to do all this stuff, and he gave me all this instruction. I'm like, oh my goodness, I was terrified. So I thought, that's it. Acting class, here I come. That's when I started. So
Well, look at you now.
look at me now,
Yeah.
having fun.
All right, superstar Lorenzo. Lorenzo? Hello? Lorenzo, you're on the air.
Yeah, sorry, all of a sudden, when this started, my internet decided to go no. Yeah, so I might go out at times. Hello.
That happened to me on your film.
I just thought you didn't like me. I thought, it was so bad. He thought it was so bad. He's like, no.
Lorenzo, I love you. I was watching he actually was doing a focus group of his film, and I was watching it, and our internet just went out. It was nuts. Okay, Lorenzo, tell me all about you.
All about me? Okay, Lorenzo Leonard. The first memories of my life is when I was 2 years old. I told my mom I wanted to be an actor. I don't know why. I saw something on TV, ran up to her and said, I want to be an actor. She says, how do you know that's what they do? I don't know. That's what I want to do. So everything I've done in my life since I was 2 years old is about how to be an actor. Now I live in Valencia, California, and every second of the day, I'm always thinking about what I can do as an actor. Every moment, I'm always thinking about it, what I can do at any moment. I also started writing, which I enjoy. It's kind of fun, and schizophrenic at the same time. And something interesting about me. I'm pretty energetic and say what's on my mind. So you either like it or hate it or think I should be in a mental institution.
Well, welcome, and that's a great. I wish I had that trait. I don't. I'm a Libra. I'm shy. Okay, Ashley, you're on.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I just graduated college back in March, kind of graduated. They like canceled everything and I was like, okay, it's fine. I am originally from New York and right now I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And most recently I've worked with we're doing a show, but it's like on pause because of COVID. But I'm also working with a children's theater company because I love working with kids. I think if I could work with kids and do theater for the rest of my life, I'd be like, that's it, like that's me. And my unique thing, I'm really awkward. I think that's it.
Awkward how?
I feel just like talking, and it's a thing I'm trying to work on with theater because back in school they would always tell us you have to present yourself well, and I'm like, oh, I'm so awkward. So I'm trying to own it more than I do.
Well, I'll just say this, clear transparency. I have worked with Ashley. She was selected as part of our Zoom cast of the Green Room. And Ashley, you never displayed any of those shy qualities to me, so you're on the right step, okay? Really, I just wanted to say that right away. All right, Miss Sarah. Miss Sarah.
All right, I'm Sarah Landry. I met Stephen through Dramatically Incorrect Theater Group. They did the Green Room as well. And I was going to audition for it, but I had too much going on and I wanted to really commit to it. So luckily he invited me to do this, and this will be my first acting class outside of college, which was 15 years ago, something like that. I'm in my 30s, if you didn't know. Let's see here. I took a decade off of theater after college, and I slowly started getting back into it at the beginning of 2019. And I've already done 12 different acting things. And this year was the first year I did film. We recorded Clue, which was the stage version, but we did it as a movie. And now I'm taking part in smaller indie one-acts. So that's been really fun. Something interesting about me. I like to have the attention. No, let's see here. I was diagnosed with cancer when I was 2 and survived.
Well, congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Big heart to you. Wow. Much love to you. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Elena. Elena?
Hi. So my name is Elena. I'm originally from Romania, not Germany, but I moved to Germany when I was 14 years old. I wanted to be an actress before I knew I wanted to be an actress. When I was small, I used to make all kinds of conversations and I'd say them out loud. I'd play both characters, and my neighbors probably thought I was crazy because they must have heard that all the time because my parents were all the time at work. So I was home alone and I would get bored. So I'd start making those conversations out loud. And I made all kinds of characters, and it was really fun. And then I moved to Germany, and I was watching a movie. It was 10 Things I Hate About You, and it was with Heath Ledger. And when I saw that movie, I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do for my whole life, because there are so many jobs and I look at it and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do a certain job for my whole life. Acting is so versatile. You can do so many things. You can be anyone, literally anyone. And about my work. I didn't get to do much work with acting. We have a local theater. I live in a small town. And I did some courses. And then we were getting ready for, I don't know what it's called, for a play. And because of COVID, we couldn't do that anymore. So I'm planning on making a short film about dreams in general and the society, how society presses teenagers and they are making them not live their dreams. They are making teenagers be afraid of facing their dreams and just have a normal job and all that. And unique thing about me, I think it's that I'm not afraid of failure, because I know you have to do it. Like, even if you fail one time, you just have to get up and keep going, because there's no other way.
Great. Thank you so much. Wow. Great story. Okay, Jessica Jennings.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, well, where to start? I might be like the youngest person ever thrown into Shakespeare, because my parents threw me on stage when I was 2 weeks old. So I was born into a theater family and kind of didn't ever have that aha moment. It was always just there. My big rebellion was, I'm going to be a dancer. And I did that. And I got a BFA in dance. And then there was this really awesome culminating moment where I was hired during my senior year of college to do the dance. There's like this background dance in M. Night Shyamalan's The Village where they're like all at a wedding. So I was on set for a month, and it was really amazing to like have all of that come together. Like, I had done theater and SAG commercials and like stuff when I was a kid and had not really pursued a life of acting, but to like be on set with like dance on camera and have all that come together was like this really awesome pivotal moment. And I would have loved if that like continued as like my whole career, but I've just kind of done like, okay, this is the dance and the choreography over here, and then this is like, I'm doing theater over there. I co-created an organization with a friend of mine. So we merge the arts with advocacy. We're rooted in theater. We're in our 11th year, but we have turned to film over the past 3 years. We've also done like poetry and other stuff. And during the pandemic, of course, we've been doing radio drama. Our film that we shot last year is playing in festivals this week. We were in Holly Shorts. I wish I could be in Hollywood right now. So, you know, I've had this really interesting career that has taken many twists and turns, from acting to dance to directing. And I am from New York City, born and raised. And one interesting thing about me, unique, I don't know, I'm like a closeted extrovert. I really come out of my shell when you get me drinking. So I love being on stage too. I love stepping into another character. And I've been cast, like I did the whole like drama, Shakespeare ingenue thing, but I really love like chomping at the comedy. So, and I'm a mom, so that's me.
And a wonderful director too, but we'll talk about that later. Carol, you're with us. Join. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I had like a coughing spell there.
So
Sorry,
tell me about a little bit about your background, and then tell me something unique about yourself, my dear.
Well, I'm definitely not actor. I'm more into the writing and directing, producing. I met Steven back in LA in like 1997. And I love his classes. They're really life-changing. And yeah, just jumped into making movies. And then I've had 3 boys. The youngest is 10, oldest is 19. So spent more time on my day job as a teacher. But at the juvenile detention, I really used theater. And that was great with the kids, and to act with them, to get their energy up. It was really fun. Doing West Side Story, they were actual gang members, but terrible at playing gang members on stage. I was like, stop smiling and being so nice. Well, it's pretty funny. They were good at Frankenstein, but they liked the makeup. And now I'm making a short film again. It was going to be a feature, but I wanted to use SAG, so I guess it's a short for now, as I don't really have all the money to pay everybody. But we're doing it COVID style, and it's cool to be back in the game. And unique, let's see, I homeschooled, home birthed 1 child, and now I live right in Virginia Beach.
Wonderful. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for sharing. And so I'm going to just go down real fast. I'm going to just give you guys the lowdown of what I teach. And so I'm going to give you the tools, and then we're going to play around a little bit. And I'm going to ask you guys to write some stuff down. So I hope that everybody has a notebook, because a lot of this work requires writing and self-evaluation. This is my book is sort of a spiritual journey for actors. It's not just a how to act or how to break into Hollywood. It is a sort of a do-it-yourself kit to help prepare and keep yourself on track in your acting. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to just read one of my favorite quotes about acting. And this is from Ruth Gordon, and she was an actress, and she was in Harold and Maude, and she went to an acting school in 1914. She went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and after 1 semester they kicked her out. And then after she won the Oscar for Rosemary's Baby, they invited her back to give the graduating speech. And this is what she said, and I think this applies to all actors. "Never give up," I told the graduating class. Never give up sounds easy, but it isn't. Never give up. Does that seem funny to tell you who haven't gotten started? That's when you have to be warned. I can't give up. I have too big of an investment. It's when you're starting is when not to get discouraged. The last time I was at the academy, the president said, "We feel you're not suited to acting. Don't come back." Well, you see who's standing here. And on that awful day when someone says you're not suited, when they tell you you're too tall, you're not pretty, you're no good, think of me and never give up. Now, that is the cornerstone of what I teach. I teach to go beyond, if someone, Lorenzo, you want to say something? Okay.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake.
Okay. We can't have mistakes here. No. So that to me sums up the crux of what I teach, to persevere beyond all the BS that comes up in acting. And I don't care if it's personal, family, friends, professional, whatever. There's probably no story that you guys could probably tell me that I haven't in some way experienced. And as we go through this together, you guys are going to see that a lot of the stuff that you guys all think of as personal things, everyone has had some sort of block or issue. So one of the things that I try to do when I teach is I try to get the blocks out of the way, and then I try to get people to start working. And I do it very gently. And the reason I do it gently is because there's a lot of criticism and a lot of stuff in the business that is anti-art and creativity. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys real fast what I call, since we're going to be doing primarily the vein of gold, I'm going to tell you exactly what the vein of gold is, and we're going to start digging around for it, because sometimes our gold, we hide. We hide it from ourselves, and we also hide it from the world, because it scares us to glare that brightly. It scares us to own it. And what my contention is, if you own your vein of gold, you go into your acting career with a lot more assuredness and a lot more power, as opposed to going into it fearful and afraid of everybody and afraid of your own shadow. Now, if you want to have more clarity of anything that I talk about, it's all in the book. I know some of you have the book. I've emailed some of you the book who didn't have it. So for anything that is unclear, just ask me or look in the book, and it's there, okay? So what we're going to do is the vein of gold is actually a term that Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way, came up with. And she came up with it when she was talking with director Martin Ritt, who actually turned Sally Field from Gidget to, I'm sorry, I forget the film. Anyway, what's that? Norma Ray. She took Sally Field from everyone knowing her as Gidget to Norma Ray. Because Martin Ritt told Julia Cameron, he said, if you cast an actor in their vein of gold, they will give you brilliance all the time. If you cast an actor outside of their vein of gold, they will use craft and technique and give you a credible performance. Now, do you guys understand the difference there? Now, I'm going to give you an example. It's like Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is great when she plays one of those, like Margaret Thatcher. She plays Sophie's Choice, someone with an accent, someone who like is a deep psychological character. She's great at that. But then when she turns her hand to comedy or musicals, which she's now doing, I don't know why, but when she turns her hand to that, it's not as believable. And the reason it's not as believable is because it's not her vein of gold. Now, look at Jim Carrey. Like, Jim Carrey is great at playing the crazy wild card and nuts. He's not so good when he's trying to go in for a straight role. He's good, he's solid, but doesn't snare us as much as when he's using his vein of gold. Okay, so that is what we're looking for in every single one of you. We're not looking for you guys to be brilliant actors in all categories. What we're looking for in this is we're looking for your vein of gold, okay? So I hope I've explained that correctly. And if I haven't, just let me know, and I'll explain it more as we go. But I just want to give you the rundown of it, okay? So I'm going to start off with where I start everybody in my course. I give you the 3 basic tools. And the 3 basic tools are: 1, I have everybody create an actor's notebook. Now, this is where you put your answers to the questions I ask and your vein of gold. And what you do is you actually are going to create a notebook. And this is what I use. It's the cheap, inexpensive Staples notebook. And what I do is I always collage the cover with a dream or dreams that I want to realize. And the reason I have actors do that is because it keeps all of your dreams in one place. It's sort of like a flower pot for your acting career, okay? That's the first tool. The second tool that I always give actors is I have them do a daily I remember. And that is 1 page of writing every day. Yes, you have to do it every day. And it's not long, it's only 1 page. And you start with the sentence, I remember. And what you do is you write daily 1 page of I remember. And anytime you get stuck in your writing, you just go back to the sentence, I remember. So it's a very easy process. And this is the reason I have actors write is because we're always looking for your truth as an actor. Because if you understand your truth as a person, it's easier for you to connect your truth with a character. Because a lot of actors, they act only surfacely. They only like do a voice, or you know, they'll just think of the lines, and they don't ever connect it to something authentic. And so what I tell actors, I would say, play the truth, act the truth, don't act the truth. And that's not your truth, it's the truth of the character, which we'll get into later. But there's a caveat. You have to know your truth, I think, before you understand fully a character's truth. You know, so that's sort of why I have actors do a daily I remember. And we're going to all do one in a minute. So hold your hats and hallelujah. Okay, the third tool that I give actors is you are to read a script every single week. You need to read 1 script. I don't care if it's a screenplay. I don't care if it's a play. I don't care if it's a sitcom. Whatever it is, you read 1 script every week. And the reason I have actors read 1 script every week is so you start looking constantly, like all the famous actors do, for material. You actors should always be looking for material. And if you read 1 script every week, that gets you into the practice of reading and looking at characters and understanding structure and understanding, you know, what kind of script you want to be, you know, like if you want to do independent comedies, if you want to do sitcoms, you have to understand the vein that you're trying to forge, the acting vein that you're trying to forge. You know, like when I was leaving theater and going into film and more TV, I started reading a lot of sitcom scripts. I started reading a lot of Will and Grace. And even I started writing screenplays. I would actually read them so I could understand the structure, you know, because if you don't have a structure in your acting or a point that you're trying to go to in your acting, it can be so vast and so overwhelming. Like if I told you all, go write a novel, you guys probably couldn't write a novel. You probably have a bunch of ideas for novels, but you couldn't write a novel because you didn't have the structure of writing behind you. And so what I try to give actors is I try to give actors a structure from which they can actually mold any type of their career. Okay, so are there any questions so far? And if there are, just unmute yourself and ask. And remember, only 1 person at a time. Any questions?
Stephen?
Yes.
Your camera froze when you were discussing what to do with this, with the notebook that we collage. What are we doing with the book?
Throw them away. No, just joking. No, what you do is, and don't worry, because this is what you're gonna do is you're gonna collage the cover of the notebook, which I explain in the book, and you just keep all of your I remembers there. Okay, so thank you. Any other questions?
Now, when you say I remember, like I remember when I hated acting, loved acting, or I remember when I, you know, can you get a little more specific when you say I remember?
Yes, thank you. Lorenzo, that's a great question. I like to tell actors to keep them specific about your life. The I remembers are the shovel of digging up your vein of gold. They are what you're using, like the shovel to dig out the dirt to find your gold. And they should be personal to you. When I've taught this in in groups. I've had a lot of actors say, you know, they start wanting to doing fantasy ones. Like, I remember when I was in Mars, and I'm like, no, that's great. That's fun for fiction, but let's focus on something that's for you, something that's personal to you. Let's bring it down and let's write about something personal. So I don't like to put any qualifications on it or any modifications, but I do like to say, try to make it something real about yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Lorenzo?
Yeah, so basically you're just jarring the memory to find the vein of gold.
Yes, you're absolutely jogging your own memories. It's sort of, I used to call it, you know, in acting, they have something called sense memory. Remember that old thing from method acting? This is sort of like what I call nonsense memory, because you're just digging up the nonsenses, the nonsensical, or the nonsense of your life, and you're actually putting it on paper. So you're actually using them as a sort of like a memory tool. You're using them as a tool to get your memories pumped, to get your emotions pumped. And you'll learn, and I use them for actors as they progress into characters, because I think an I remember helps you to understand yourself and understand, you know, Lorenzo, you love it, because I just saw your film. Your film's all about that. You know, you're acting, everything you do. I'm just talking to Lorenzo for just a second. Everything you do, you try to make a personal connection. So that's what our I remembers are for, finding our deep personal things. You know, like for example, my dad passed away last year. A lot of my I remembers over the past year have been about my dad. You know, and I don't do that like I'm trying to like process, but I do. It's how it's such a great tool, because you're able to process your life, but you're also able to get it on paper. And when you get it on paper, it turns into acting, or it turns into stories, or it turns into monologues. That's the power, and it's real. It's not something you make up.
Yeah. You know, that's good, because I used to, I always thought that, you know, you couldn't find your, let's say, vein of gold, what the role that you're perfect for, unless you have that breakout movie like Rocky. But I have an idea. I know what I'm better at, and one, like you say, you know, like Stallone, you're not going to see Rocky doing, you know, Castaway. You know, so I have an idea, but maybe through this that'll jar the, you know, make it better, because I always thought unless I have that big breakout movie, maybe I'll never know.
Well, you know, maybe your breakout movie is the one you just made. You never know. You know, I thought my movie, you know, if you guys read the book, you're going to see that I was cast in a movie called Off Hollywood. I was cast as the lead. That was many years ago. The movie still hasn't come out. So I thought that was going to be my breakout role. This little movie that I made with my boyfriend, partner, husband, Chuck Pelletier, called That's Opportunity, won me 5 Best Supporting Actor awards. So, you know, you never know, but knowing your vein of gold helps you with your with that breakout role, because what happens when you know your vein of gold? When you read a script, you'll go, aha, that's me. And when you get those, that's your vein of gold, because it's intuitive. But you can't know intuitively what your vein of gold is unless you know what you're looking for. Otherwise, you'll think every part is your vein of gold. Oh, I'm perfect for that part. I'm perfect for that one. You know, and I know many actors who go, oh, I'm perfect for every audition. They're not. And you can't act everything. You know, as a writer, I can't write everything. I write comedy. People say, why don't you do drama? I don't like it. I can do it, but you know, I was in college, I was taught Chekhov, I was taught Shakespeare. That never fit me. I should have been doing Neil Simon. I should have been doing Woody Allen. You know, I should have been doing Carol Burnett, you know, that's the stuff I should have been doing, you know. So that, go ahead.
Okay, just so I know, we're digging in so that we can pull up the emotions that those memories, because I do, as you know, I do drama. I'll make you cry. And that's because of my life and what I've dug up so far.
Great.
And that's why I'm a Pollyanna, because I can't go there constantly.
And Rebecca, that's a great question. It's not to dig it up, it's to have access to it. It's not to
You're
dwell on it.
stuck.
I'm stuck. Am I back? It's not to dwell on it, it's just to get it
You're
on the
back.
paper. Am I back? It's to get it on the paper more than to dwell on
Okay.
it. You know, that's why you do it every day. So you're not going, oh, I only write when I'm feeling moody. You write it every day.
Okay, I got it.
Okay,
I'm
good.
muting again.
Thank you, babe.
I have a question.
Okay, now that we've done that, what I want everybody ready to, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. And I
I
want
have
everybody,
one question.
what, yes,
I have one more quick question. The size of the script, is there any like specific size? Can it be a short film?
yes, please. And let me say this, I encourage people to read independent stuff as well as the greats. I recommend you, if a friend of yours is a writer and they write scripts, read their scripts, because there's probably more parts in that for you than there is in Terminator 3. So, you know, read things that you are interested in. You know, if you're doing theater, read plays. If you're doing sitcoms, read sitcoms. It doesn't matter if you're trying to niche yourself into short indie films, go there. You know, there's no limit. Okay, so I'm gonna give everybody, you're gonna get 5 minutes. Now, a lot of the stuff I do in this is fast, and the reason I do things fast, and I'm gonna just tell you right off the bat, is because speed kills the censor. And that censor, the censor is that little voice that goes, oh, that's not good enough. Oh, I that's the wrong answer. Oh, I can't do that. In my class, I like to get past the censor by, I call it an old-fashioned deadline. Nothing kills the censor faster than just an old-fashioned deadline. You know, like I could have procrastinated on teaching this for 6 months, but I said, no, it's going to be the 15th. It's going to be at 4 o'clock. I had to do it or die, you know? So that's how I like to approach my stuff. So you guys are going to get 5 minutes. And what I want you to do is I want you to do a practice I remember. So start with the sentence, I remember, and I want you to write as much as you can in 5 minutes on the topic, I remember. Okay? So go.
We need some Jeopardy music, right?
Everyone just keep writing. Trust whatever comes up, okay? You've got 1 minute to go.
What about you, Steven? Are you doing it too? All
Okay, everybody, finish your last sentence. Okay, great job. I'm sure whatever you guys wrote was wonderful. Um, I want to invite anyone who's brave to read their I remember. And now let me just say, hold on one second. Let me just say, since I'm recording this, if something comes up in this class that is really personal and really deep and something that you just is so personal that it's overwhelming or you don't want anyone to know, don't share it here, share it privately with me. So you can share what you want to share here, but I want you to put a caveat on it and don't share something that is going to get you in trouble with someone or something that, you know, is too heavy. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Because you can always share it with someone in a cluster, or you guys are all friends on Facebook and you guys can all share these things with each other outside of this if need be, because you always want to have discernment in what you share. Okay, you don't want everything you have to be public knowledge and you get to pick. Okay, that's very important for me to tell you guys. Okay, you don't want to share your whole life or something that is very personal to you. Okay, but if you feel comfortable sharing, I want to know who wants to read. I'm going to pick 2 people to begin with. Who wants to share? Okay, Samantha, unmute yourself and share your I remember.
All right. I remember the strange feeling when I knew I was falling in March. I tripped, but was propelled forward at almost an unstoppable speed and crashed my wrist onto the concrete, smashing bones and dislocating the wrist. This was right before COVID really hit full blown, and I knew I had to have surgery. I did not like the procedure involved, like blood tests and x-rays and stuff, but I was not scared of the surgery. Not that much anyway, just the healing and adjustments that I had to make afterwards.
Nice. Did you guys, thank you so much, Samantha, for sharing that. Did you guys hear how specific every single thing that she wrote was? Now, not all of you guys are going to have those specific things, but that's exactly what the I remember is for, because every single specific thing helps you to understand yourself, and it takes you deeper automatically as an actor. I think the reason I can act as well as I do is because I'm very deep. The reason I think I'm funny is because I'm very, very serious. My writings are all serious. um, I have a very big heart. And so your I remembers connect you to the truth of yourself, which will make your characters become truer and more honest. Thank you so much for sharing that, Samantha. Okay, who else wants to share? I'm looking. Anyone? Jessica.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So I remember embodying the character of my mother. I was at a summer dance intensive in Tuscany. The teacher was David from the Bang group. He'd given me some overnight dance assignment, and I can't recall the details. I do remember choreographing Mom. I was laying across the floor, draped like a lioness, or as an aristocrat might drape herself over a chaise lounge. I imagined pearls, long strands wrapped over my neck. I moved with fluidity, with arrogance, with bitchiness, with a svelte feline quality. And the study could not have been more than a few minutes. But I remember the look of awe and surprise on David's face. And I remember the class, that everyone was in shock. They hadn't seen this sexy, sultry side of me and didn't know that I had it in me.
Wonderful. Jessica, thank you. That's, see, once again, very, very specific. A very specific moment in time, which, you know, if I gave Jessica or Samantha right now any character and I said use that piece of writing, they could actually tap into that writing and use it for a character, you know. See, it takes you deep. Okay, I want to hear, I want to hear two more. I know, Lorenzo,
Rebecca?
you had your hand up. You go.
Rebecca?
Lorenzo.
Yes, sir. Okay, we are ready. I remember when everyone was alive. I remember when I would drop off headshots everywhere in boxes. I remember when I dressed up as Spider-Man, went into the studio, went to Francine Maisler to try to get an audition. I remember when I always had an agent. I remember when Bella, my dog, was a baby. I remember when my wife and I were dating and had so much fun. We have a lot of fun now, just talking about that one moment. I remember when I got my heart broken, but later realized it was a setup, not a setback. I remember when I quit many jobs to go on auditions. I remember when I got my first feature script written. I remember when I wrote my first film and it was at a film festival and everyone applauded me. And finally, I remember when my dad told me, never give up, son.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Beautiful.
Thank you. See, do you guys hear how, once again, see, you guys are all really on this. You guys are all on this because you guys are all already bringing so much truth to this. And that's what these I Remembers do, is they bring you to the truth. Okay, Dan,
Rebecca?
I'm going to do as many as I can. Okay, Dan, you go. Rebecca, you're next. Dan, you go.
I remember having a burgundy colored bowling ball when I was a teenager and bowling at 212 on the first week of a league, which spoiled my handicap for the rest of the season. I remember wanting to be the next Earl Anthony, a bowling legend. I remember my dad's left hook. It would straddle the gutter all the way to the end and then curve right in and get a strike. I remember when I kept score by pencil and paper and in leagues by crayon onto plastic sheets, which were projected onto the high wall above the lane. I remember playing pinball after bowling, which then cost a quarter for a game, and you would get 5 balls per game. And then I remember when Asteroid and Pac-Man came to the bowling alley, and I felt like a great era of pinball was about to come to an end. And I remember when going roller skating, and they would keep a copy of the Billboard Hot 100 chart on the wall that I would look at every week, and I would order a witch's brew to drink, which was a mixture of all of the carbonated soft drinks.
Nice. Nice.
Love it.
See all that truth in there, Dan, all that truth you can bring to characters. That's a lot, that's history, and that's good. Okay, Miss Rebecca.
Okay. I remember when I was 4 years old, my mother and dad were separated, and my mom had gone on a boating trip with a few friends. All of a sudden, I was with my grandmother and she yelled and she screamed. The news was on and she ran to turn the news off. My grandfather turned it back on, and then I saw a picture of my mom. I asked my grandma why. Why was she on the news? My grandmother turned to me, squatted down, and said, she's been in an accident. I remember screaming. Was she in the big green dragon? That's what I called our car. My grandmother assured me that she wasn't, but I made them go and get the big green dragon. But alas, she had been hurt in a boat accident. And she would remain in a coma for months. And every time the news came on, I would turn it off. But today, I find myself sitting in front of the news every day.
Nice. Nice. Now, see, that is a very, very, very powerful story. Not story, anecdote.
Remember.
It's a great, I remember, because you're brave enough. See, guys, what I want to tell you is writing makes you big. Writing makes you brave because it puts.
That should be your monologue, Rebecca. That was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lorenzo, you're jumping the gun.
Sorry. Remember I told you I speak my mind.
Okay, guys, this is a group effort here. Rebecca, that was so big, and writing makes you big because you can share your truth. Remember what I said? Act the truth. I had a really good friend of mine when I was starting to write screenplays. I used to write them about all kinds of fictions of girls at a fat farm and blah, blah, blah. And I met this one writer and he said to me, Stephen, and I would tell him all my stories, my little stories about growing up. And he said, I want to know about that. Tell me about that. Write the truth. And I finally did. I finally just wrote a screenplay called Pyramid Scheme. And I wrote it because everybody, when I was looking for a job, was trying to get me enrolled in their MLM, their multi-level marketing. And it pissed me off. And I equated Hollywood as a pyramid scheme as well. Everyone wants to join their thing and give them money. Well, anyway, I wrote that screenplay. It was should have been called The Year of My Life That I Hated Everything. But anyway, I wrote the truth. And I said, here's the screenplay, here's the truth. And he said, Stephen, that's the best thing you've ever written because it's honest, it's raw, and it's funny. And ever since that time, as an actor and a writer, I always tell people, write and act the truth. When you go to an audition, don't play a character, act the truth. Now, it's not your truth as Stephen, it's not me, Stephen's truth, it's the character's truth, but it's all the same thing. You have to learn how to connect everything you do with your truth and the truth of the character. And the more honest you are, the better you're going to tap into your vein of gold and the more credible performances you are going to give. Believe me, I know I've watched actors show up at auditions and they're great technique, great, but they don't give me anything that I can see, that I can hang on to. And the ones that I cast are the ones that I see something special come out of them. I'm always looking for that. I'm like, I always look at actors and go, what is the something special? I remember when I was casting The Green Room, Jessica, I remember one actor came in, he was so damn good, but we couldn't use him. But he gave what I call the best audition I've ever seen. He was so specific. Every movie made had purpose. His songs were right on, but we couldn't use him. You know why? Because we were casting 18 to 25-year-olds, and it was a little out of the age range. But he gave a performance that was truthful and honest, and just it went right through me. And I can tell when an actor's giving up a canned version of themselves because they're closed off. But writing, my point is writing makes you honest. It keeps you honest and it makes your characters honest. Okay. Now, if any of you want to share your I remembers with me privately, please contact me and we will do that, okay? Because we don't have time to go over everyone's I remembers. I wish we did, but we're going to have to go on to the next thing, okay? But I loved what I'm hearing. I love the truth of what I'm hearing here. Okay, we're gonna do a little digging now into the pain of acting, okay? I want you to, in your notebook, I want you to list 5 enemies of your acting career.
Okay.
And these can be teachers, these can be people in society. 5 enemies of your acting career. For example,
Can you define enemy a little more?
yes, I can. An enemy is someone who has damaged your career. For me, I always go, this is my go-to. David Herman, the guru at Long Beach City College, where I studied acting, he said to me point blank one day, if you were 5 feet tall, if you were a foot taller, I would cast you. You're too short to be an actor.
Oh,
I went to, what's that?
Can they be non-human? Can they be like institutional?
Yes,
Okay.
anything that, it's very broad. Any enemy of your, to me, the groundlings. I went in, auditioned, they called me and said, you're not suited. We don't want you. I didn't even make it to past the audition to get into the classes, okay? Anything that's damaged your acting career, it could be a bad director, it could be the film that goes over budget, any of them, just five things.
okay.
Okay, draw a line. Under that, I want you to number 1 to 5, list 5 champions of your acting career. Now, these are people or situations or institutions that have given you a booster, have given you like the thumbs up. For mine, it was my great grandmother. She never told me I was going to be a good actor, but she nurtured me in such a way that I felt comfortable being myself and expressing my creativity. My boyfriend Chuck wrote a movie for me, told me I was a comedic genius. So 5 champions of your creative work, or your acting work. Okay, put your pens down. Now, I want everybody, I'm going to go down the list and I want you to just share with me real quickly. I want you to share with me 1 champion and 1 enemy, okay? And just give me the cliff note of it. And the reason I'm having you do this is because we're looking for patterns. We're looking for things that have gotten us derailed, and we're looking for things that have encouraged us. And what you're going to find is that they always are the ones that go for your jugular. You know, they're the things that you write on your list are probably things that keep coming up for you. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's just because that is sort of the thing that has happened in your life, you know, and there's usually a common theme. So, okay, Rebecca, you start. I want one enemy and one champion. Unmute yourself and go.
Okay, my father was my enemy. He, what he did was he stopped the car one day and told me that I could not carry a tune in a bucket.
Right.
Okay, my champion is my husband because he's behind me 100% every time.
Right. Okay. Samantha?
Okay. Now this is interesting because my and I guess you would say enemy is my boyfriend, the person that I'm companion that I live with, and he did not want me to get back into acting at all. He was very against it totally, and he was just awful about it. And my champion is now my boyfriend because he has gone to see my work and he realized that I have potential and he's supporting me entirely.
And I want to add as a footnote here that yes, some people will be on both lists. It's okay. I've had both. I've had the great mentors. I've had them be on the enemy list too, and vice versa. Okay, Miss Jessica Jennings.
On the enemy list, body issues, lazy eye for most of my life, and that really affected the way I moved my body and all kinds of a certain person who I worked with last year, I not name, but I have a in my head. Okay, sorry, champions. My parents, Stephen, Chuck, and Thompson, Prati, and a whole list of.
Great. Absolutely great. Okay. Lorenzo.
Yes, sir. There's so many enemies. Which one to choose first? Because, you know, as an actor, you're just a freaking target with the bullseye on your freaking face.
That's why I do this.
Yeah, I don't know which one to choose, to be honest, you know.
Pick one, the worst one, if you're comfortable. Pick the worst one.
There's two that are worse for me, and I think representation. I've had a ton of reps, and they're all just a bunch of self-centered quitters who couldn't act to save their life. And I bent over backwards, and they just don't care. I tell them I can do that. I'm gonna do it. So help me. We'll work together. They're all a bunch of assholes. So that, and oddly enough, I haven't had an agent or a manager in a while, and I'm very aggressively looking. And then my other one is my brother. He would love if I failed and died. He would love that. So I want to be the richest and most powerful person so bad because of that. So in a way, it's a helpful thing because it keeps me moving.
Good.
And my champions, I think the number one has to be my wife. She's always, hardcore with me. And when I would talk about all these ideas I had, she would tell me you should start writing and doing that. And now the writing has been a saving grace because I've completed so many feature films now because of that. And my first residual was my own film that I wrote. So I thought that was really awesome. When I met this guy named Steven on a film festival, I don't know if you know him.
Okay. Alex?
All right. I put my enemies as skeptic friends and family. And champions, it was me, myself, and I.
Okay.
And Oxygen Network, the one that put me in 3 documentary film, like a movie, like a documentary.
Great. Great. Okay. Sarah Lee.
let's see here. An enemy would be my ex. That's the reason I ended up taking off a decade of theater, and I felt like I missed a part of my heart. And now getting back into it, I feel whole again, which is really nice. And then a champion is actually a director that I've worked with, Angelica, who actually advises, and she's so kind. And anytime she sees my name get posted, I was once called for something, and she was like, please don't work with that person. You're going to hate it. You don't want to do this. And she was 100% right. So.
Wow. Great. And by the way, you're great as Scarlett in Clue. Just footnote. Dan?
So for an enemy, I put fear of financial insecurity.
All right.
It's been an enemy of mine.
How many of us have that?
Yeah. And that fear has kept me from pursuing my career full throttle.
Okay.
And then a champion has my friend Mel, who called me out of the blue and cast me in his independent feature film and said, hey, if you do the role, I'll Taft-Hartley you into the union.
Yeah.
Out of the blue. And it was like, so it's like, you never know where your break will come from.
Absolutely. Great. We need those. Okay, Carol Wood.
That's the nickname you gave me.
I know it is.
My enemy would be the commune that I just left. It was a very toxic situation, but in a way they're a champion because I'm taking what happened and made it into a movie. So sometimes bad things, you can channel it. That was an enemy. And then a booster, my mom was always 100%, just always, yay, you can do it. So I really miss her, but I remember her. And of course, always Stephen.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. Okay, Elena.
For enemy, I don't know which one to choose because it's both finance. Oh my God, I can't pronounce that. It's that it's hard for young people to move away from their house, from their home. And also for acting, I prefer film acting. And I'd have to move to a bigger city. So I can't do that now. So I see it as my enemy. As for my champion, I think it's Min Yoongi, a member of BTS. I struggled with social anxiety and depression, and when I found the music of those artists of BTS and his music in particular, because he has personal work as well about mental health, and he has his own albums as well. And I remember I wrote him a letter. They have an app, and they kind of see the letters of the fans. And I was expressing how much his music helped me go through my social anxiety, depression, but also my dream. He's also he treasures dreams. He wants that everyone lives out their dreams. And I also mentioned my parents because they're against acting, and that wasn't easy for me. And his music was like a comfort for me. And he read my letter and replied. He said that he's thanking me for listening to his music, and that I shouldn't let go of my dreams, and that I shine brighter than everyone, which was a lyric from a song of theirs. And I think that keeps me going. I don't think I can give up now that he knows about my dream. And I just have to keep going. I want to make him proud and make myself proud.
That's absolutely wonderful. Some of my mentors have been people I never even met. And that we're going to talk about that probably in week 3, is our mentors and how much they mean to us. And that's why I have you do this champion stuff, because your champions are the ones who you really want to listen to. And the enemies are the ones you want to actually, I hate to say it, leave behind. You want to throw them under the bus. I hate to say it. There's no two ways around it. You know, some of them are your family, and sometimes you just got to chunk them under the bus and keep driving, if you can. Not everyone can do it. I'm not always able to do it, to be honest, because I have to work with people. Okay, let's do Mary Dallas.
Hi.
Hi.
Let's see. Okay. Enemy, this is going to sound really weird, is Meryl Streep.
Why?
Because she said something that I have never gotten over. She said, and I will quote, "If you cannot sing, you cannot be a good actor."
Oh.
Right? Gasp. That's what I did.
Oh my God.
I'll never
You
forget
said
that.
that?
I can't sing a note. At the restaurant, my family has restaurants because we're Greek. And whenever we sing happy birthday, I always will lip sync. That's how bad I am. But there has to be 3 of us. Otherwise,
I do that too, Mary. We're in the same boat.
Telling you, I can't sing a note. I got kicked out of 5th grade music class. He told me, "It's you. You're the sour sound."
Oh, no.
And kicked me out. Yeah, it's terrible. Okay.
Meryl Streep. Okay.
Meryl Streep.
If you think that Vin Diesel can sing and he's no good actor, come on, come on.
He's not awful. Yeah.
Everyone can sing. They may not be as good as everyone else, but they all have a voice.
Oh.
Yeah. Mine's pretty terrible. But anyway.
Yeah, so is mine.
But my champion is my representation. His name is Tommy Ibarra. He's from Uncut Casting. Top Priority Group. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. I am eternally grateful to this wonderful, wonderful human being. Yeah. He's the one I started my acting class. He was my acting teacher. Then he signed me and he sent me out on auditions, and the rest is history. I owe it all to him. Yeah.
Mary, I have never heard anyone say Meryl Streep is an enemy. Okay.
I throw her under a bus. I like the woman. It's just I didn't like what she said.
Well, she can't sing either. I mean, she keeps running musicals. I'm like, Meryl, stop it.
When she said that, it was like a knife in the gut. I'm like, I can't sing. I'm screwed.
Okay. Ashley.
Okay. My enemy I wrote is just really bad imposter syndrome and never feeling like I belong doing what I'm doing. And then a champion, my biggest one was my dad. He's always supported me, literally no matter what. And I had a really weird time starting college where I did like pre-med for a semester because I was offered more scholarship to study at a prestigious school to do their pre-med and biology program than I was for theater. So I was like, okay. And my dad was the one who was like, Ashley, what are you doing? Like, no. And I was like, I don't know. I'm grateful to have him to support me and understand, because he does culinary arts. So he always says, I understand what it's like to want something so bad and then be like, it's not practical, but yeah, I'll stop talking. It's fine.
No, actually, you don't have to stop talking, but I do want to interject. I cast you in the green room. Your audition was the first one that I saw that made me sit up. Your audition was the first one that I saw out of so many that made me sit up and go, wow, that girl's got it. She is one of the best Annas that I've ever seen attack that song. And I've seen hundreds of actresses try that song. So you keep doing what you're doing because you have talent and you're unique. I do not say that to a lot of actors. You are unique and trust yourself. Okay, I don't want to interject on everybody's, but I do want to tell you that, Ashley, because I have worked with you. Okay, and the other people, I will get to know you as we go, and I will interject little things because Ashley, you're good. You're really good. Trust yourself, and you will. After 6 weeks, you will totally trust yourself more.
This could
Okay,
be
what's that? Are you there? Did I lose you? Okay. Okay. So now we're going to now play a game. This is the big game in my book. This is called The Vein of Gold. And now, remember, I had you guys write an I remember. You're going to see how that I remember ties in with this game. So I want you to make sure you keep the I remembers that you wrote today, okay? Because we're going to use them, okay? Okay, in your notebook, everybody please list 5 favorite films. Now, these can be any films. They can be oldies but goodies. They can be rom-com, but you list 5 of your favorite films and list them fast. Okay, you got
Okay.
30 more seconds.
Okay. Okay.
Draw a line under that. And I want you to list for me, please, your favorite childhood book. Now, this is the book that you most loved as a child. And please try to be as specific as you can. Please don't say comic books. Be specific. Say Superman comic books if you have something like that. But I want your favorite childhood book. For example, mine was A Wrinkle in Time. Okay. And if you can't remember your favorite childhood book, you can steal from someone else as the memory is jogged in you when other people share, okay? And if you don't get 5 films, you can make one up as you go, and they're not set in stone. You can change them later. Okay, so does everybody have a favorite childhood book and 5 favorite films? Please say yes or give me a thumbs up if you do. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, now what we're gonna do a little bit. This is gonna be a 2-part. We're gonna do a little bit of it today, and then we're gonna continue with it more next week. Like I said, the Vein of Gold is the hub of what I'm teaching this course. So I really want to dig into it, and I really want to spend some time on it, okay? So we're going to do scene work, we're going to do monologues, but the majority of this work is going to be finding your unique vein of gold and learning how to use it, and then learning how to use it to network and get your career going, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to list for me any common denominators you see in your films. So what we're looking for are common themes, common characters, common situations, common types of films. Like, for example, my favorite films are Grease, Harold and Maude, Beaches, The Color Purple, and A Star is Born. They all my films are like musical in some sense. There's always a huge lesson going on. They're larger than life characters. There's a lot of women in them. And those are the things that I write and I act. So we're looking for common denominators in these films. And we're looking for genre as well. Are they comedy? Like a lot of mine are musical comedies. A lot of mine involve two characters who flip-flop. They, you know, one of them, sometimes in my movies, they die. So a lot of mine involves life-changing, big changes, even though they're like frothy looking musical comedies, there's something really underneath that's real dramatic. You know, a lot of mine are over dramatic. Okay. Now, does everyone have a nice little list of their common themes or common denominators in their film? Okay. Now, here's the key to the vein of gold. And a lot of people don't really understand this key, but it is the key. What was your favorite childhood book about? What was it about? Write that down. What your favorite childhood book was about. For example, mine is A Wrinkle in Time. And that book is about this misfit girl, Meg, who goes traveling through space with her kind of weird brother, Charles Wallace, to find their missing father. Now, when I was a young boy, my father disappeared when I was 5. So a lot of my vein of gold is trying to find something, to discover something. It involves teaching and learning. And in my favorite book, A Wrinkle in Time, there are these 3 wise spiritual entities that come in and help them as they're traveling through space. So I have a big spiritual thing in my vein of gold. So this is not a frothy, throw it away, isn't that cute tool. This is a look at the characters and the themes in your childhood book. And the reason I call the childhood book the key is because if you can figure out what that main character was and how it relates to you, I'm telling you, you are standing on the very, very steps of your vein of gold. You're standing right on it. And if you can identify it, you can identify the theme of your life, and you can probably identify your sort of archetypal journey, the journey that you're on in this world. And that will also help you with your acting as well. And I hope that does not sound abstract and crazy, but what we're looking for is the truth. Remember, we're looking for your truth. We're not looking for how good you can act. We're looking for your truth as a person so you can project that onto your acting and your writing. Okay, now I'm going to ask a few people, let's see, who would like to share their five favorite movies and their childhood book? Who wants to share their discovery? Okay, Mary Dallas, you went. Okay, you go first.
Hi.
Hi, Mary.
Okay. My 5 favorite movies are Braveheart, Lethal Weapon, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, The Godfathers, and St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, wait, Mary. Okay, you guys, when you read your list, go slow.
Oh, okay.
Go slow so we can hear them.
Okay.
And I'm just going to give you an example. I'm going to use you, Mary.
Okay.
I'm going to use you. Can you sing for me?
Oh, God.
Okay, here I go.
Can
We're
you
going to
hear
do a
me?
duet. Me and Mary. Okay, we're kidding
I'll do
around.
the
Okay,
voiceover.
Mary. Mary.
Yes.
Okay, this is how the vein of gold works, okay? So what I want to do is I want you to read your list. I want you to read your childhood book, and then I want you to tell me what you gained from the vein of gold, okay? So we'll start with you, okay? So go ahead.
Braveheart, Lethal Weapon, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Godfather, and St. Elmo's Fire.
Okay. What's your favorite childhood book?
Where the Red Fern Grows.
Okay. Okay. So I heard some gasp. Okay. Tell me, Mary, what did you gain from the vein of go? What do you see as the common denominator? And primarily, I want to know about that childhood book. Okay.
Life lessons, journey for answers, and a journey, an adventure. Yeah.
Okay. What was your childhood book about?
It's about a boy and his dogs,
And
and the dogs risk their life or to save his. And it's just, I cried my eyes out reading this book. So
okay.
it,
Okay, can I go a little further with you? And like,
Sure.
I said, don't share anything you're not comfortable with. What made you cry? What got you? What got you when you read it?
when the dog was killed trying to save this little boy from the lion. I think it was a lion because it was in 5th grade, but yeah. And the dog was killed and it was just absolutely devastating. I was devastated. It took me days to get over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so now who do you relate to in that book?
I lost a friend in elementary. A little girl just died. I think she was, back then they didn't give you a lot of, it actually was mainly, the worst one was my 3rd grade teacher. When my third grade year was over, I just thought that she was gonna die because I'm never gonna see her again. I felt like she died.
Yeah.
And I was crying my eyes out. It was a devastation because I would never see my teacher again.
And is that when you read the book? When you were in
I read the
3rd
book
grade?
in 5th grade, and
In
that
5th grade.
reminded me of my devastation of my 3rd grade teacher. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how does that book tie into your films?
I know how, when I think about what happened to the dog, when I think about my emotions, I can tap into it instantly, and
Good.
the waterworks start.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about how the theme and the characters of your childhood book relate to you as an actor or your life journey?
It taught me about loss and how to deal with the loss of someone that's very special and important to me, and how to mourn without losing myself in the darkness.
Great. Great. And is that a powerful theme in your life?
Yes.
It is, isn't it? Isn't it?
I'm trying constantly not to get sad.
Well, and sadness and emotion are the things that actors pull on. That if we don't have, and many of you have seen a lot of the posts I do on Facebook, actors have to be vulnerable enough to tap into that stuff, that I call it psychic stuff or spiritual stuff or emotional stuff. But you also have to, on the other side, be strong as hard as nails for the business. And that is tricky. And I think that maybe, Mary, I'm going on a limb here, is why you have like Braveheart, all those very strong Godfather, masculine types of films. Because there's a part of you that is very probably Braveheart, probably very adventurous and probably like tough as nails.
Very much so. Very
and you need that. I think next week we're going to talk about our secret selves, because sometimes we get locked into one role and that's not who we always are. Like sometimes we'll be I'm always the comedian. That's my leading persona. But I'm also a very tender person. I'm also very sensitive. And I'm also very determined as well. A lot of people see my small size and they think, oh, he's just a pushover. I'd like to see someone push me over. I mean, that's because I'm very strong. So what we're going to do, Mary, is this is how this exercise works. So what I'm going to do is I want you to repeat your I know we're beating a dead bull here, but not really. It's really fun. I want you to repeat for everybody, and everybody listen to her. Repeat your movies and repeat your childhood book. And I want everybody to chime in. You all can unmute yourselves now, because I want you all to chime in and tell Mary common things that you see in her films and in her book. And Mary, what you're going to do is you're not going to edit what anyone says. You're just going to write them down. Okay? So, Mary, you start, and when you're ready for people to chime in, say, give it to me or whatever. Go ahead.
Braveheart, Lethal Weapon, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Godfather, St. Elmo's Fire, and Where the Red Fern Grows. My childhood book. Go ahead, guys. Hit me.
Definitely strong. Even though you're goofy, it's goofy. They think you're goofy, but you're very much the leader. Even though you're fucking around with everybody.
Determination, an offer that you can't refuse.
Yeah.
I love that.
I see determination too. And with the red fern grows, I see that the inside hurting.
The what?
The inside hurting and feeling.
Pain. Yeah.
And with Godfather, it's the same thing because people die.
Right.
And they're, yeah.
Thank you.
Who else?
There's danger and high stakes.
Danger. Yeah. High stakes.
A little crazy.
Yeah.
Just a little crazy.
Just a little on top.
Crazy's okay.
Crazy but ambitious.
Ambitious.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Realizing your own potential.
Thank you. Great.
How about groups? Cliques.
Clicks.
Warfare.
Warfare. Yeah.
Opposing forces.
Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon was interesting. Lethal
Yeah,
Weapon
love
had
it.
a lot of emotion because of what he was going through, and then how that made him become what he was with all the violence and everything.
Right.
Yeah. I'm thinking like the dramedy. That's what I get in my head. And remember how Riggs first started. The reason he got this, everyone thinks he's just joking all the time, but he's very much in charge. But his wife died.
Yeah.
You
He's
know,
in
in the
pain.
beginning.
Massive pain.
Yeah. And so, but that brings him to that crazy guy. But he's very much a leader.
Yeah. He's just in pain. Yeah. Thank you.
And you got one more Lethal Weapon coming, so you can look forward to that.
Yeah.
How about
Thank you.
control of your destiny?
Pardon me?
Control of your destiny.
Love that.
Anyone else have anything to give to Miss Dallas?
Love your movies.
What'd you say?
Love your movies.
Thank you. I love them too.
Mary, did any of that resonate with you?
All of it did.
Okay.
They're brilliant. Yeah.
What was the strongest for you?
The biggest one was pain.
Pain?
Yeah, that was the biggest one. And then a little crazy. Love that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Goofy, and I like dramedy.
Braveheart. That's the one.
Yeah.
The crazy one.
Yeah, I like that one. And I like the dramedy, the control of my destiny. Those are fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, you guys.
Well, that's okay. So what we're going to do, since we're about 10 minutes out, what we're going to do is I'm enthralled with everything that you guys have done. Was there anything that sprung out for anyone in their childhood book or vein of did anything spring out for anyone in this exercise? And I'm just gonna call on five people. Just raise your hand if something came out for you.
Yeah. I do.
Dan?
Yeah, there's a slight tragic edge to. I can maybe go over to you personally without, but there was a slight tragic common edge into all of it, which I found interesting.
And that's probably something that's very personal to you.
Right.
And it's probably your gold.
Right.
Remember, guys, when I'm talking about vein of gold, I'm talking about things that are so personal to you that it's part of your fabric. It's part of your DNA. It's something that you have brought over with you spiritually and that you carry with you, and it's part of what you want to explore and you want to explore and hone it for your art.
Actually, I think pathos is a better word. Maybe I want to keep refining it. Pathos is a better word than tragedy. So I think yeah.
That's a good word too. Pathos, tragedy, or it's all, whatever. It's this epic journey that we're all. It's the hero journey. Your childhood book is probably your archetype of your journey, and you'll probably find those inside your films. And that's what we're going to do next week. Is we're going to look deeper into these films. So did anything else surprise anybody from their movies or their childhood books? Lorenzo.
Yeah, what's funny is in my the theme of my movies is really become the theme of my life, that if I don't do, I'll achieve nothing in life. And how the theme of my movies is really who I am, and it's kind of funny, and maybe that's also why I have some struggles with getting the best representation, because I always think I got, maybe subconsciously, I'm always that theme of my movies.
Oh, okay. Would you share that with me, or do you feel comfortable sharing what that theme is?
Yeah, it's that underdog, that never give up. That's the theme of all of them, and it's who I am and who I've always been since I was a little kid. Is I've always been the underdog, everything I've ever done. So maybe because of that, maybe that's why there's always, my wife even pointed this out once, that there's always a struggle with getting the right thing. But I also think it's a good thing, because then when I finally do get it, it's absolutely awesome.
Lorenzo, that is a huge archetypal journey, my friend. And that is, like, I will share with you that is part of my curse and a blessing. So you're in good company, I think, here, because I think a lot of people here probably will resonate with that theme. Okay, does anyone else have anything that comes out at them?
Me, Rebecca. Yeah. What I found, my book is Through the Looking Glass, and I found my movies are always this changing, that I have to fit into every changing situation I get myself into. I have to become a different person or a different personality to fit in. And one of my movies is Collage, and they always come out that, the changing from the inside and becoming accepted. Does that make sense?
That absolutely makes sense. And like I said to Lorenzo, that's a huge vein of gold.
The minute you said something, I felt it. I wrote them down. When I saw the book, it went, oh my goodness, this is who I am and what I have become.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb here, not that I'm Shirley MacLaine, but but you're all gonna find, as you look this week at your films and your childhood book, you're going to look and you're gonna notice that this very tender part of you is still there. That journey, that archetype journey, and that struggle that you're on is identifiable in your vein of gold. That's what in your childhood book and your movie. And it's a very powerful thing to tap into because it takes you to deeper levels of yourself and your truth. And you're able to say, like Lorenzo, I'm on a limb here, I am the underdog, but maybe that's not really, that's only a part of me. Maybe there's another part of me that wants to be the superstar. See, there's a flip side of these characters, these archetypes as well. So it's not just that it's written in stone that you always have to be the underdog. The underdog is only one part of your personality, a dominant part, but there's other parts of your personality too. And I know that because I know you, Lorenzo, and I'm okay. That being said, we're going to continue this vein next week. What your homework is, I'm giving you homework, so everybody write this down. Your homework is, I want you to collage the cover of your notebook, okay? Using images from magazines, newspapers, or the internet. I want you to collage the cover of your notebook.
Is it okay if it's only this small?
What?
My notebook is small. Is that all right?
If you can find a regular piece of paper, do it on that so you have more room to work with. If you would, it doesn't have to be on the cover of your notebook. I do it on the cover of my notebook only because I always want to see what I'm working on as I'm working through my dreams. Okay. And I want you to use, if you can, images of yourself. This is actually called a treasure map, and it's a very strong tool that I use. Some people call it a vision board. People call it a treasure map. I just use the term collage because it encompasses your dream. Now, the next tool that I'm going to give you, the next part of your homework, is I want you to bring in a monologue to work on. Now, I do want to you can bring in any monologue you want, but if you can, try to find something that's in your vein of gold. Now, if you don't have a monologue in mind or you need help, please reach out to me. I have a very wide range of things that I can pick from. If you can, please try to pick something that's not identifiable with like an actor. Like don't give me Rocky. Don't give me like Bette Midler from Peaches. Don't pick something that's in your vein of gold that's not identifiable with someone famous. Does that make sense, everyone? Give me a thumbs up if it does. Okay. So, any questions?
I have one.
Yes.
Instead of favorite movies, can we also name a favorite series?
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
As long as they have themes and characters, that you can identify. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Jessica.
Me?
Just about the monologue. I'm sorry, we're bringing it in. Are we working on it to present it, or what are we doing with the monologue?
Thank you for the question. Please bring it in to work on. It doesn't have to be memorized. What we're going to be working on is why it is your vein of gold and why you think it is your vein of gold. And we're going to be looking at it and saying, And you're going to be looking at it too, and going, is this my vein of gold? Is this something that I really, really am passionate about acting? Is this something that I would be great at? You know, that's what we're looking for in this series of my workshops. We're not looking to work on your acting skills so much as we're looking on honing your vein of gold. Like for each of you, I could probably cast you in something right now because I know so much more about you. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
bring in a monologue that you feel is your vein of gold. Okay. Yes, Samantha.
The childhood book that I picked for some reason was Tale of Two Cities. And I really don't know how that applies to me, except that I was a child and that was a long time ago. And I related to Marie Antoinette.
Wait, what was your childhood book?
I felt that when I was a child, I was related to Marie Antoinette.
Oh,
And I don't know why, but my book was Tale of Two Cities.
Well, isn't Tale of Two Cities like doesn't that take place at the same time as the French Revolution?
Yeah.
So, okay, what's your question?
For some reason, I always related to it, but I'm not sure why.
Well, you know what? That is the discovery of what we're going to be doing in this workshop. Is we're going to be figuring out what that key is for you. Okay? Because that might be tied to your personality and to things that you really want to act. So let's just do some examining and do some writing around it this week. Do some writing around Marie Antoinette and Tale of Two Cities. And you may even go and look at Tale of Two Cities and Marie Antoinette on the internet and see what kind of connections they make for you. You know, because remember, everything about this weight of gold stuff, it's all personal.
Yeah, I think
Bit of it
personal
personal. So, okay, so guys, that's the class for today. You got your homework. You all have me on Facebook. You guys have all been an absolute joy to work with. And I have learned so much from every single one of you. And I cannot wait to work with you guys again next week. And if you have any questions, please contact me because this is what I'm doing for the next 6 weeks, okay?
Okay.
All right, you rock, Mr. Steven. Have a good day. Be safe.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.